I literally had somebody ask me for something like this yesterday, and I didn't know this existed. I think this is going to be kind of a sleeper star. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd down here at Grand Design today, taking a look at a Transcend I've not seen before. I'm pretty sure this is a new model, but I see a lot of things. Sometimes it gets hard to juggle. Regardless, I've not seen it. I hope you enjoy how we work to always get you the new footage. And if there are things that you want to see, make sure you drop some requests so I can put them on a hit list because you folks drive this channel. So what we're looking at here, somebody yesterday just said, hey, is there something like less than 30 feet, not like 29 feet 11 inches, but genuinely less than 30 feet with a true queen bed and a couple bunks where I don't need to give up my daily driving vehicle, but I don't want a Murphy bed. And there's actually not a lot of that out there in the industry today, with a slide out anyway. The thing here is, instead of the traditional dinette slide, I really applaud Transcend for taking a brave dive and going with the ability to have this like 3-seat party sofa over here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, a U-dinette is still available, but I think there's a lot of people who are not looking for the historically traditional RV dinette experience. And I think there's a lot of people who are looking for sofas like this. Now you might ask the question, yeah, but where do I eat? Well, you have to kind of solve for that if you don't have a traditional dinette. There's a lot of families that just eat with a plate on their lap in front of the TV nowadays. That is a real modern thing. You might disagree with it in terms of practice, but that is a real thing. Also, the RV does come with an indoor-outdoor kind of picnic table, so if you really wanted to, you could pop it inside in front of that rack and pinion slide and be good to go. This has really good outside storage, a couple big compartments, and a direct entry bathroom door, which will cut down on so much dirty foot traffic. It's crazy how well that works. Like an RV, it's got positives, it's got negatives. I want to hear how you feel about those, and in the meantime, I'll do my best to give you my candid opinion of things. Maybe we'll meet together in the comments section. Let me know what you think of it, and subscribe if you appreciate how we share the good with the bad. And I have verified a couple things. I'm not quite as crazy as I thought. This is a new floor plan, and the U-dinette is the standard furniture arrangement on this. But again, I really like that they give us the option of changing that out. And because it normally has what I call a true U dinette, which is like extra big, extra long, that means that this is outfitted with that larger true 3-seat sofa that we saw there in that floor flush rack and pinion slide. Now we're going to get to all the extra details. I really like the metallic ladder wall that is, giving you access and supporting that upper bunk, but also the fact that it's kind of see-through. It makes the whole RV look and feel bigger. 12-volt compressor fridge above the furnace. I am noticing it's not a centralized furnace, so it doesn't have ducting. It's just a direct dump furnace, but I don't know that that's really a problem. This is not an RV that is made with extreme cold camping ever in mind. So if some dealer ever, you know what? That's actually a really good shopping pro tip. Ask your potential RV dealer, is this 4 seasons? Because first of all, I hate that phrase. If they look at you and they say yes on this camper, they are liars. Get away from them. They will say anything to get your money, and they do not care about you. So there's just you're interviewing your dealership, and you're buying your dealership as much as purchasing the RV, which I wholeheartedly believe myself. Not everyone subscribes to that mindset, but I do. Now, a lot of times when you're in the more budget-sensitive entry-level stuff, you won't always get slide side windows. Sometimes you only get one, and oftentimes they don't open for airflow. This gives you both, and they do open for airflow. Also, the little details like the cup holders and the armrest, the dedicated wastebasket solution over here in the kitchen. Those little creature comfort, intelligent design details, the stuff that actually matters. Think about this. I know it sounds stupid. I always talk about trash cans, but every single day you're camping, you're probably going to put something in that. So why don't more RV manufacturers think about stuff like that? Now, a lot of people don't go camping to watch TV, but if you want to add one, it does mount the entertainment area straight across from the bed. Although the way they have accomplished this does feel like they have kind of cooked just to kind of put it bluntly, sort of wasted some potential storage space there. So The thing is, I think that's probably a symptom of the budget. If you're decent with woodworking, I bet you could open that up and do some stuff with it. Speaking of which, I like what they did here with the bed. Because it is an open bedroom design, they turned that into a function space by making it like a clutter cutter shoe garage. Now, it doesn't have dresser drawers on either side of the bed. You've got those kind of bedside stand pockets, which I'm not always a super fan of. It's not my preference either that they have open face storage above the bed. At least they threw that kind of sidebar there so that if you get some wicker totes from Target or whatever, it can kind of keep everything under control. But I can deal with that stuff, having a place to like charge my phone, or perhaps CPAP users having a comfort spot for their machine. Like, that's a perfect execution. And if you do draw this privacy curtain, which it's an open bedroom, but at least they gave you a curtain. It's kind of crazy how many very expensive laminated trailers don't do that. They did have the wherewithal, which is a word I don't get to use a lot, to put TV hookups over here, at least on that side of the curtain, which I think is kind of cool. Now, I'm going to give you kind of a straight on face to this thing, but what they did with the bedroom storage is a little bit interesting. You might notice over on the left, you have normal hanging closet space, but over here on the right, sorry, I kind of didn't think about this. I put the bed in the way. You have more dresser space. The most, not 100%, but the most common feedback we hear in campers like this is that people need more folding clothing storage versus hanging storage. So they built for that. They actually spent a few bucks more doing it. So it's not like they went the cheap route. The storage under the bed, even though you have that shoe garage, you still have a big space under the bed, which is easy to access, thankfully. Quick note, I'm actually going to sit down on the sofa here. Your campsite window coverage isn't like, wow, but it's not bad. So if you need to peek out there real quick to see why the kids are screaming at each other to decide if you need to get involved, you can. Because they put a big window right there in the countertop, I just noticed they did have to put a power outlet under the overhead cabinet just to the left of that light. And just to the left of that, we see our paper towel kind of handy helper rod right here. There we go. I don't know why I made the sound effects, but it felt right. The thing is, when you have L-shaped kitchen counter space like this, there's a lot of area that you can't easily get to. So they open that drawer to make it come to you. Now, below that drawer that you don't see a whole lot, they use that outside. Now, I intentionally popped one of those little dishes out because this is their little, pet dish station. You don't have to use it like that, though. You could always just use it like a drawer. Now, this is ideal for some people and a deal breaker for some others. This RV does not offer even an optional propane oven. Let me get that out of the way so you can see that you have two big drawers down here. Very limited drawer space. You only have the one single drawer, but at least it's one. I've seen some trailers, I've seen some fifth wheels that literally have 0 drawers. That's just, I'm just going to say it's just stupid, in my opinion, man. But there we go. Yeah, no propane oven in this one. You do have propane cooking outside. You obviously have that 3-burner stovetop. And then down here below the bunks, they have the opportunity to throw in a couple extra drawers. Now, the trick is, because of the way this floor plan lays out, they had to do stuff like stuff the water heater under those bunks. So they didn't have really the opportunity for one of those cargo bunk arrangements. Now, I realized something just now. I forgot to show you one of the cool things that I like about this sofa. The fact that it does have that folding middle armrest. Now, those are long enough that if somebody like me wants to kind of drape across, stretch across those, I can't. I'm a little over 6 foot, by the way. I can't completely stretch out on it, but I could make that work overnight. That is also the two sections that don't fold down that are just the normal chairs. Those are actually power recliners, which is kind of a surprise. Not a bad surprise, just a surprise. Now, real quick, something you may not have noticed because I never really pointed out. They don't have individual power outlet solutions for each bunk. They're kind of like right in the middle. So the kids' cords might need to dangle up or down a little bit, but overall, I think you can kind of make it work. Now, I appreciate that they put the full viewing windows in the entry doors. I don't like that they don't give us a privacy shade, especially in a bathroom. Like, to me, if you're not going to do the privacy shade, just don't do the window in the door, because I don't think this is a room where we want a lot of that action happening. Now, it's easy to miss because it's kind of around the corner on camera here, but you actually have some pretty deep linen space. I tossed some stuff back there to kind of give you like a little bit of a three-dimensional view. Take a look on the left side of the screen. Here's another little view of, like, you know, a person with long arms reaching back there. I can reach the back of it, but it is a stretch. Now, speaking of stretching, you can stretch out all around that toilet right there. But if you do stretch your legs and you get up in the shower and you're a little over 6 foot like me, your head's going to be all the way up in that skylight. Now, I'm probably representing about 6'2" on camera, depending on what shoes and hats and stuff I wear. But today I'm probably representing about 6'2" on camera because I'm wearing shoes. I'm not actually that tall, but again, shoes. Now, standing in the shower with me, creepy as that sounds, you might notice it is not a peekaboo I smell you bathroom door. And I have taken the liberty of closing up the slide over here to do the road mode section. I want to kind of start back here on this because this RV has what I refer to as two-stage road mode. You can get to all of the sleeping. You can get to the sink, the drawers, the kitchen, the stovetop. You can get to, well, I mean, I said all the sleeping, but the bunks, the bathroom, through the bathroom direct entry door. But if you want to open the slide or use your, primary bed space, you're going to need to use the other door up here, the front door, as it were. What is kind of cool, because they built this with just a dedicated true queen, you make sure that you can always close the slide. Like, Murphy bed models can be a little shorter than this, but notice they didn't build this just with the exclusive intention on being as small as possible. Like, there's plenty of room at the foot of the bed right there. But when you close this rack and pinion slide, and you factor in the big peninsula kitchen countertop right here, it makes a problem. Now, when you have the sofa option instead of the standard U-dinette, it looks a little bit like you could do a tippity-tap-toe travel trailer sideways two-step solution through here, but you're still probably going to be walking on the inside edge of that slide, which I don't recommend on a rack and pinion. So I would call this one two-stage travel access. However, with this being a rack and pinion slide, one of its benefits is that if you want to just barely crack it open partially, you can do so without screwing it up if you need some quick pass-through access. But with the two doors, I don't know that you need that. Now, I have a bit of a good news, bad news kind of scenario here for you. Again, I like to try to share both sides of that equation. The GVW being basically 7,000 pounds, $69.95, 7,000 pounds, means this fits within a lot of half-ton towing potential. And the 27-foot length is not a bad pairing for that either. The thing is, I think they intentionally derated the gross vehicle weight so that they could open it up to more vehicles to give it the impression of being a lighter weight tower. And that what that means, though, is that legally this thing has dropped down to, I will say, an acceptable for most, but too low for some cargo carry capacity. I'll expand on that in a minute. Real quick, you can see the extra large front pass-through, and you might have noticed how you do have that picnic table. Again, slots right in the ceiling area there, so you don't waste any space. So back to the cargo conversation. If you're somebody who likes to keep a lot of water in tanks and boondock, this thing might be a concern for you, and I hope you appreciate that I point that out. But if you're a park pavement princess like me, it's fine. It's fine. Gas grill quick connect over here. Notice they didn't force a camp kitchen on you. And frankly, I'm okay with that. Camp kitchens are cool. Don't get me wrong. They're actually really cool. They're really fun. But the suppliers that provide parts for the RV manufacturers, sometimes things like the griddles kind of suck. So the fact that they let you bring your own, if you even care, like I prefer to cook on the fire pit, given the opportunity. Holy crap, that's awesome. Look at the awning space on this. I just clued into that. That is some fantastic news right there. Now, I personally don't have a lot of use for the outdoor griddle, but I really do like having Dad's medicine cabinet out here. So keep a couple Capri Suns in there, keep a couple not your father's root beers or whatever, you know, you tend to prefer, and you're good to go. Now, under the Explore logo, in the middle of that black stripe, there's actually the outside speaker. It looks like a singular outside speaker. It actually does have dual left-right elements, but it's mounted in the middle of your RV, down low enough that it shouldn't be a problem. Now, again, good news, bad news. First of all, I appreciate that they give us the extra large handle here. Secondly, the glass entry door. Oh, she looks so smexy. But in the summer sun, oh my gosh, they get super duper hot. You might have noticed that is an anti-slam door, so when the kids go flying out of this thing, they're not going to smash stuff. And if you've never camped, the fact that you have a door that lets you stare at the turlet probably makes you very nervous. You're like, don't know about that. Well, I get it, but it's camping. And when you spend a lot of your time outdoors, especially with that big patio awning space, I mean, like, you could have some serious campsite picnic table action, playing, you know, your cornhole bags. I found this thing on Amazon. It's basically like an axe throwing dartboard for outside. Super cool. I could definitely see a lot of fun taking that camping and having room to do it. But when you need to use the bathroom, not tracking tons of dirty foot traffic through the RV with that direct entry bathroom door, really, really nice. You thought I went on a tangent. It was actually all related. Joke's on you for once. We are prepped for backup camera, rear telescopic roof ladder, which conveniently, he says facetiously, is not included, but they are available. Did you notice that motion activated lighting kind of clip off in that pass-through compartment? I haven't gotten close enough to it recently here. That is also a gas and electric water heater, which you do not see a lot of nowadays back here behind the rack and pinion deep slide. We also have a singular sewer outlet just below that enclosed belly. And this little bonus chunk of space right here under the bunks, just handy, helpful, extra space. It's a secret Mouska tool that'll help us later. Now, sometimes people ask, can I remove the bunks? Yeah. But remember, you have your power inlet, you have your water heater right there. Those things ain't moving. So leave me a note. Let me know what you think about this one. I don't hate it. Like, my family camps basic. We with the little I do get to camp right now, we tend to camp mostly in one of those like 26 no slide bunkhouse style campers. I could see this. I could definitely see this right here, going from the 30 foot that I usually haul to 27 feet, but picking up the slide so I don't feel like I'm giving up space and getting a true queen bed out of it. Kind of liking this thing. I'm liking it a lot, actually. So I'll leave you a note in the video description to double check pricing and availability. I'll see if I can dig up some similar things from other builders. I've got a couple in mind that might work, and if I forget, leave me a note and I'll try to fill in the blank. So till next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.